Okay, so the last thing I want to do here for the rigging section is I just want to clean this all up. Um, so it's kind of a little bit more organized because right now we got the skeleton in here. I got a geo group here. Let's take a look at what we got. Let's make this a bit bigger. Okay, so first thing, do I have I got a skeleton. I got a skeleton group on the top of this root joint. Okay, great. I'm just going to take that and I'm going to put that onto a layer. I could hide it too inside the hypergraph or whatever, but I always find just put it onto a layer. Skeleton underscore, what the hell am I doing? Group. This is a layer. Okay, done and save. And so I can hide that whenever I want and bring it back. We got the geo group. We got these controllers here. These eyes. There is a group with the parent constraint. These are part of the geometry group. There we go. And over here, what do we got? Got some foot controls. And we got an upper body control, but we don't have God control. So I'm just going to go and make some kind of master control, God control, whatever you want to call it. And I'll just go in here to the create CV curve tool, EP curve tool, and I just usually make something that looks like this. If I hold down X on my grid, I can go doink, doink. Draw out something that looks like this. Okay. And 1, 2, 3. And you can make it look any way you want to. This is your God. Okay. And I'll just go in here and call that God underscore control. And if you're really sneaky, you want to make lots of characters and rigs, and you want this little symbol here, or you got some other symbol that you've made, if you go into the script editor, you can usually find it pretty quickly. Right here where it says like curve, and then it's got a bunch of coordinates for all the points that you've placed on the grid, and you hit save script to shelf, and you call it God. Okay, and let's make those big, like we're shouting it, like we, okay. And if I go and I hit OK, and mail script, done. So whenever I want to make one of those, it's right up there. And just remember, you make two of them, that could be a problem. They're on top of each other, and you know what happens? You got two gods, they're gonna fight. Okay, don't let them fight. There's one there, and there's another one. Anyway, whatever. Okay, let's get rid of that. God control. And, you know, you could scale it up a bit so it's easy to select or whatever. I like it like that. Okay, great. And then I'll just go in here, freeze transformations, kill the history. Okay. And let's go back here to the hypergraph here so I can look at what I got. So the upper body control should be parented to the God control. And the feet here, I've got these two foot controls right here. Those should be parented to the God control as well. These things, all the foot group stuff, that should be in its own little special group, which I call do not touch underscore group. Do not touche. Just hold on a second. Underscore group. Okay, so when you're rigging, this is what I always do about like trying to protect the animators from themselves. And so we got the geo group, we got the skeleton group, and we got this thing here. Trying to think if there's any other crazy things I'm going to put on here. No, so I'm just going to go right click and I can hide that. I don't even want to put a layer for that thing. The God controls, the control group here. There should be a control group, control G, and I'll call that control underscore group. Okay, and I'll put that onto a layer as well. And take that layer and I'll call that control layer and save it. Okay, so I got all those things. And something else too is sometimes it's kind of cool to change the size of your character, and you do that, you're going to see the rig starts to fall apart. So what I might do here is if I grab the God control and then I hold down shift and I grab the skeleton group, I can put a scale constraint on this. So now when I grab this and I scale it, we don't have any problems. You do see something weird happening here with the feet. And what that is, I have to grab the God control and hold down Shift and grab the Do Not Touch group and also put a scale constraint on it because the IK handles were having problems with scaling. And there, eyes are doing perfect. Now what the hell did I do wrong with the eyes? So there's something about these constraints and the eyes. They're probably receiving double the information because of the group. And so if I took this thing and I just went into the attribute editor and I turned off inherits transform, would that be it? No, now there's... Okay, I might have to come back to this one and think about it. Let's keep that on. Okay. I'm just going to think there's got to be a logical problem with, or a logical way around that. Or maybe it's the group that I have in here. Okay, I won't worry about that right now. Hopefully we don't have to deal with that issue. I have to scale them back or something weird like that. Then if I go in and I grab all these groups here and I go and I group the groups and I call that master group. Master underscore group. There, now this is really clean and it's nice to take back and forth to other scenes or whatever. If I double click on this, it shows me my geo group, my skeleton group, and do not touch group and control group. And it's just basically has turned the hypergraph into the outliner. And if you hold down Shift here, it opens up everything, right? And if you just click, then you can see... actually, it doesn't do what it does over here. So when I double click on this, this opens up. If I hold down Shift and I double click, no. If I grab this, Shift double click, no. And I have to go and right click to expand all. Okay, I'm just double checking. That's how I've always used it. Go in here, right click, and expand all. And then you double click on it, it closes up again. And I'm going to call... Well, actually, let's do like a couple more things. Say, like, for the controls here, I'm probably never going to use the scaling on the foot or the visibility, right? So if I go and I right-click, I can use lock and hide. These controllers here for the knees, I'm never going to use the rotate, scales, or visibility, so I can right-click, lock and hide. What about the God control? Probably not going to play with the visibility. This thing doesn't render anyway, but I'll just go and lock and hide selected. I should actually double check something here on the God control. When I rotate it around, does it freak out? No, it doesn't look like anything freaks out, so it's good. It's good. That's my upper body control. I can get rid of the scales and right click, lock and hide selected. These three controllers here for forward kinematics, they're probably never going to use the translates. I'm not going to use the scales and visibility for sure, so I'm going to go in here and lock and hide selected. Actually, what does this look like? If I grab this and I grab the move tool, that could be some punk rock animation there. What if I grab the both of them at the same time? Whoop! It's almost like I'm getting a fake squash and stretch. I might keep that around because you never know. That might be funny. These neck controls, head control, I'm just going to go in and actually just grab the neck ones by themselves. Not going to change these things, so lock and hide. This thing, did I put the focus thing in? I didn't put the focus thing in. Oh, did I put it on this thing? I put it on that. Okay, so this one here, right click, lock and hide. This thing, all it does is rotate, it doesn't translate, and doesn't scale. Visibility doesn't matter, so lock and hide selected. And what about these arms? Okay, and actually the hands will be different, but we'll see what happens. If I go in here and I grab the scale values, right click, and lock and hide selected, everything seems to have worked. So I've kind of cleaned up everything that and got rid of things that I'll probably never keyframe. And I can save this out. Remember, if you do scale this, if you scale it up, then you're going to see your displacement maps are going to change. As you scale it up, they'll get softer, and if you scale it down, they'll get more harsh. So then you have to compensate the displacement scale too. Anyway, I'm going to stop this here.